What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. I just realized, like a few seconds ago, that I have still not given you an updated bookshelf tour. Since I bought this new one, I realize it's blurred. Since I bought that new one at World Market a couple of weeks ago, so yes, I wanted to do that for you guys today. It's not really honestly gonna be all that different from my first bookshelf tour, which I will link up in the cards for you right here, right? Because I didn't really make a whole lot of changes. I did get rid of some though, and then I've added some new ones. So I thought we would do that today. It's very cloudy, even though it probably doesn't seem like it. It's a little bit overcast, so I'm gonna open up all the windows, get it nice and bright in here, and then we'll get into it. Right, here she is. This is from World Market. I want to say it's called the Ashlyn Bookshelf. I could be wrong about that, but I will link it in the description box for you below. They have a few things up here just for decor. I've got my manuscripts. That's not really for decor, but it makes it easy for me to like access them when I need them. This vase I acquired recently that was actually from my grandfather's funeral. I wanted to keep like fresh flowers in it, but I realized we're going into winter. That's not the most practical thing. So I found these really pretty ones from Michael's, these fake ones. So I'm just gonna keep those in there for the times when I don't want to be constantly buying fresh flowers. We have also from World Market this super cute little incense holder. I just thought it looked so adorable. I realized I could probably just make like my own pinch pot out of air clay, but I don't know. It was like $3, so I was like, that's adorable. This little guy, I don't know what he is. I don't know if it's citrine. Somebody in the comments probably knows. Boyfriend and I picked this up in New Mexico. We were in Albuquerque at Mama's Minerals, and we found this. He bought many beautiful gems that day, and this is one of them. I thought it just kind of looked pretty next to that. A couple of Vandermeer books, a pumpkin, some rocks just that we've picked up from various places. This gorgeous interior design book that I picked up from West Side Stories, which is a used bookstore in Colorado Springs. I am very much inspired by just all the different interiors and everything I would love to do for my house one day, to be kind of New Mexico inspired. So anyway, there's that. Now let's get into the actual books. All right, so first we have the printer situation. I realize it is not the prettiest. I have thought of like maybe doing something to like cover this little cubby. I'm not really sure what exactly that would entail, but this may end up changing. If I just need space for more books, I will find another place for the printer and then put books here. For now, I've got like extra ink and then some paper. Then we have this little section right here, and as you can see, everything's kind of color coded. So more of like the red and orange books are right here. Also behind this little section, I just keep my bullet journal. I will link this in the description box. It's held up pretty well because it's like hardbound. All of my bullet journals from previous years have been like paperback, and they just fall apart. I completely destroy them because I'm constantly stuffing them full of like photos and like from our trips and stuff. And then I do like a wrap up every month for like the books that I've read. So they just get stuffed with so many photos that they get nice and chunky, which is fun, but highly recommend a hardcover bullet journal if you are like me and you stuff them full. So I'll put that in the description box. That kind of just hides back behind there. So first up is The Vegetarian by Han Kang, not totally sure. If I do a reading vlog on this at some point, I will learn how to pronounce the name. But this has been on my TBR for a while. She basically, I want to say the main character starts to crave meat. Is that right? I picked this up recently in Left Bank Books. I think that's where we were, in Colorado. No, where were we? Oh my gosh. Was it Colorado? I think we were in St. Louis. Left Bank Books in St. Louis is where I picked that one up from. I also bought Suburban Hell there. I do have a reading vlog. It was like super fun. Next up, one of my favorite books, 1984 by George Orwell. Then The Prince of Los Cocoyos by Richard Blanco. This is one of the only books I've had signed. I read this one in college. It was for like a kind of like a book club kind of thing. And he signed it for me. I actually had to miss his speech. That was super annoying, but one of my professors got it signed for me, so that was sweet. Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainsford. I do have another reading vlog on this. Love this cover. It's just so autumnal to me. It's gorgeous. I thought this was really good. Super quick read, kind of creepy, but like in a good way. Fight Club is one of my favorite books. I will end up doing a whole Chuck Palahniuk video at some point because I have read his entire oeuvre, whatever that word is, that French word. I have read every single one of his books, so I will be doing a video at some point. Then Must Love Books by Shauna Robinson. I have not read this one yet. It looks super cute, so, which is not like the type of book that I normally read. I want to say it's like an office romance, but the setting is like a literary agency. I could be wrong. If you have read this, let me know if you liked it. FKA USA by Reed King. I want to say this one is gonna be impossible to get out. I want to say this one is like sci-fi. The cover reminds me of Ready Player One, which I enjoyed. Some of the references in that went over my head, but this one says it's a visionary head trip of apocalyptic political satire. So, looks really cool. It's just thick, so I have yet to start it. Aaliyah Whiteley is one of my favorite writers. I'm actually reading, or I just finished From the Neck Up by her. I have not read Skyward Inn yet. It says, this is a place we can be alone together. So that kind of reminds me of like what we've been saying about COVID and stuff. I don't know if that's related at all. Okay, it was published in 2021, so it could be sort of related to everything that's happened in the past couple of years. I really don't know. Tell the Machine Goodnight. This is a good one. It's like science fiction. There is a machine. It almost looks like a tiny little brick, and it can tell you like what you need to do to make your life happier. So I thought it was interesting. Also kind of disturbing though in the way that some future tech books are, but like in a good way, if that makes any sense. Then we have A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Highly recommend. It is obviously a little bit out there for some people because it's like kind of hippy dippy, like self-help, one of those kind of books, but I highly recommend everybody on the planet read it. It's very good. Circe, have not read. I understand that there's a lot of hype here. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Luster by Raven Leilani is phenomenal. Highly recommend. High Tide in Tucson. I still have this one. I'm probably just gonna hold on to it because I bought it in New Mexico, or I picked it up from a little free library in New Mexico. It's just kind of sentimental for that reason. The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent. I have a couple of these Teachings of Abraham books by Esther and Jerry Hicks that I have read and loved. Highly recommend those as well. Similar in vibe to Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. The School for Good Mothers, I have a reading vlog on. And Disorientation, I think I also have a reading vlog on that one. All right, next up we have Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Again, I have a reading vlog on that one. I guess that's one of my favorite things to film just because they're like easy to film, and it's like something I'm doing anyway. Cultish by Amanda Montell is really good, 5 stars. This is nonfiction. It's about, well, the subtitle is The Language of Fanaticism. So basically how language is very powerful and it convinces you to do almost anything if somebody can like find the right words. Matilda by Roald Dahl, obviously just like classic, nostalgic kids book. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshvig. I think I also have a reading vlog on this one. I say it's worth the hype. It's that whole like depressed millennial trope that's been going around. I really liked it though. And then I also liked Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This is a super thin kind of finish it in one sitting kind of a book about a young woman who is working at a Smile Mart, kind of like like a Walgreens or something, and how she doesn't really have the traditional wants and desires that women should have, like pursuing a career, finding a husband, all of that. And she's kind of like, she's not normal. So it's like, it explores the concept of normal. Like, what does that even mean? Then we have a little picture of Guillermo. Next up is The Removed by Brandon Hobson. I bought this years ago. I do intend on reading it at some point, probably in the coming year. It takes place on a reservation, I believe. There's a Cherokee national holiday coming up. It draws on like Cherokee folklore, like Native American folklore, and I'm like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit Cherokee. So I felt like, I don't know, like I might feel some sort of like, not personal connection, but I don't know, it sounds really interesting. It says, it's a meditation on family, grief, home, and the power of stories on a personal and ancestral level. I definitely want to start reading more like Native American authors and Native American books. I just feel like they're kind of underrepresented and really important. The Pisces by Melissa Broder will disturb you in like a really erotic kind of way. It is as weird as it looks, but like super entertaining. And then Word Slut by Amanda Montell. Same author as Cultish. I haven't read this one yet. It says it's a feminist guide to taking back the English language. So like, again, because I think she has a degree in linguistics, so it's basically about like the power of words. The ones in the back there are boyfriends. I'm gonna skip over those because I don't know anything about them. Next up is This Perfect Day by Ira Levin. I really liked The Stepford Wives, and so this is by the same author. The Four Agreements and The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Highly recommend those types of books. Again, they're kind of like something Eckhart Tolle would write, like self-help, ancient knowledge type of books. How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. I mentioned this in some video. I haven't read it. I'll probably wait for the summer because it just it looks like a really fun summer read. Keanu Reeves is just one of my favorite actors. People say my boyfriend looks like him. Maybe I kind of manifested my own Keanu Reeves. I don't really know. It looks fun. I'll get to it probably in the summer of 2023. Another copy of A New Earth. I think I bought this new one to like potentially gift to someone one day, but this is the one that I have all marked up, like my personal copy. Omnivores by Lydia Millett. Highly recommend this one. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Follow Me to Ground. It's got like a very troubled kind of daughter-father relationship. Very weird, slightly disturbing, but very, very good. And then A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. This is a sequel to A Psalm for the Wild Built. I believe that's what the first one is called. These are solar punk science fiction novels. Solar punk is like a subgenre of science fiction. They're so good. They're so good. They're just so unique. I can't even, like, I have a reading vlog on it. I'll link it. They're so thin. There's only 2 of them. It's just a duology. I'm so sad. I'll have to read all of Becky Chambers' stuff now because that one is just, I'm in love with it. It's so good. Then we have Normal People by Sally Rooney, Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. Really loved those 2. If I have reading vlogs on them, I will link them again. Long and Far Away Gone by Lou Burney. He's a local author. He's from Oklahoma. This is another one that I've had signed. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. I have read Brown before, and I really liked, have I read her before? I think I have. Maybe I haven't. I love her speech though, like her TED Talk. She's so like mind-blowing, some of the stuff that she says, so I will get to that one eventually. Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I am now a little bit weary about this one. I've heard some odd things. So this is probably gonna sit here for a while until I decide whether or not I wanna sell or read it. Our Wives Under the Sea. This one I read when I was in Florida this summer. So good. Look at this cover. I'm obsessed with it. The American cover is like kind of boring and not my favorite, and so I saw this cover when I was on some UK bookstore's website buying something else. And then this popped up on the banner at the top and it suckered me in immediately from that cover. And the story is good. I'll let you pause there if you're interested, but it was a 5 out of 5. So weird and wonderful. This next one is not a book. It is The Imaginary World Of, and then I will cover the title of the book that I'm currently writing that I use, like, I put things about the book that I'm writing in this. I haven't even really started very much of it yet. These are really good if you are writing something or you just want to kind of create your own world inside your head. They're really good for novel writing and kind of organizing your thoughts. I will link these in the description box. It's by Carrie Smith, who created the Wreck This journals. And then Sirens and Muses is last. Again, I have a reading vlog on that one as well. I really liked it. It takes place at like an elite art school, and you kind of you follow 4 different characters and you see how their lives kind of intertwine. Then up here we have The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin. I mentioned that earlier. Blood on the Moon by Barney Cohen. This is like an old, like, I don't even know when this came out. I've had to like fix it and tape it. This is one that I bought at a used bookstore. Okay, this came out in '84, so Haven't read it. It's about the first murder that takes place on the colonized moon, so it just sounds too cool to get rid of, even though I really have no intention on reading it anytime soon. A John Steinbeck. I do love Steinbeck. He is classic American author. Haven't read this one. I thought I was gonna get to it when we went to Colorado for the road, and I ended up not reading very much in the car, but that was my plan with that one. The Only Ones by Carla DeBelle. If you have not read anything from this publisher, $2 Radio, you really don't know what you're missing. They publish the most incredible, kind of off-the-wall, really unique books. So I highly recommend. I'll let you guys pause and read right there. But this one is kind of science fiction, post-apocalyptic. Really enjoyed that one. The Delorean by Missouri Williams was another kind of post-apocalyptic, end of the world sort of book, but this one has to do with incest. I will let you pause on that one as well. Quiet by Susan Cain. I definitely consider myself an introvert, and so I thought this would be a really interesting read. Have not gotten to it yet. If you have read it, let me know what you thought. Susanna Clark by Piranesi. This is worth the hype. I gave this a 5 out of 5. All's Well by Bona Awad. I picked this up at Left Bank Books as well. Haven't read it. It is a newer one. I think it just came out either this year or last year. It's about putting on a play. It's an indictment of our collective refusal to witness and believe female pain, which the cover kind of suggests, so I'm excited to get into this one. Mona Awad wrote Bunny, and Bunny was so weird and wonderful. I'm definitely interested to see if this one will kind of live up to that one. Then The Law of Attraction and The Vortex, more teachings of Abraham. Then down here we have 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. It is very long. I have DNF'd it for now, but not forever. The Selenian by one of my good friends, Katie Hightower. Then a few that I haven't read yet is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race and When God Was a Woman. These are both very interesting sounding to me. I just haven't gotten to them yet. Lolita by Novikov, have read, is phenomenal. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I want to say I have a reading vlog on this as well. Another like could read it in one sitting, end of the world contemplation on women and their place in this new world. It's very interesting. It's like 39 women in an underground cage. It's very interesting. Another Otessa Moshevegh, haven't read this one, Homesick for Another World. Fairest by Gail Carson Levine, or Levine. This is one that I first read when I was a little girl and loved it. I read it when it was new, like I bought a new hardcover of it. This is just a thrifted paperback that I like to keep. All right, next is Lily King's Writers and Lovers. Loved this one. Again, have a reading vlog on. Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy of 2019. Haven't read any of the stories in here, but I think my brother was like gonna give this to Goodwill. He was gonna thrift it. He was gonna get rid of it, and I was like, hold on, I will take that. But I haven't gotten to it yet. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I feel like this one kind of needs no introduction. I thought it was pretty good. Hi, are you gonna help me? Did you wake up from your nap? The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. This one is about the various ways that like drugs and psychedelics have influenced the Christian religion, I believe. I haven't read it. It sounds really fascinating though. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse is like a science fiction book with Native American lore like mixed in, I believe. I'm really excited. I'm gonna try to get to this one this winter. And then Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. I've read a couple of stories in this. This is one of those I'm sort of constantly reading. I'll read like a story and then put it away for a couple of months and then pick it back up again. Trick Mirror by Gia Tolentino is truly phenomenal. This is essays on many different topics, and she's incredibly well written. I loved this. Snakeskins by Tim Major. This one has to do with clones. I think they like shed their skin every few years. You guys can pause and read there. I remember really liking this one. He has another one I want to read. I think it's called Hope Island. I could be wrong. American Psycho. Haven't read this one yet. Boyfriend is obsessed with the movie. I have not seen the movie, and I want to read it before I watch the movie. From the Neck Up. I think I just mentioned this one earlier because it is by Aaliyah Whiteley, as well as The Loosening Skin. Half the time I say Aaliyah, and half the time I say Aaliyah. I am not totally sure which one it is, but I love her stuff. It's like if you're into body horror, you will probably like her stuff. Woman Eating by Claire Coda. This was really good. It is about a mother-daughter vampire, and one of them, the daughter is like finally trying to go off on her own, but she's kind of struggling to survive because her mom was always providing for her. We Sold Our Souls, I just recently read. I think I have a sort of reading vlog on it, but I have finished it recently, and I thought that it was pretty good. Vita Nostra, this is one of those that just will stick in my head forever. It's so incredibly unique. 5 stars for sure. Another Grady Hendrix, The Final Girl Support Group. I am not sure which one I liked more. They're just very different from each other, so definitely recommend them both. The Death of Jane Lawrence, I think I'm actually going to try to listen to this one on audio. I bought this one at a used bookstore, but the audiobook just came available, so I think I might just listen to this one. And then If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I really wanted to get to this one this Halloween. It didn't quite happen. But I know this one is supposed to be like dark academia. It gets really good reviews, so I will try to get to this one soon. And then everything over here is stuff that I've got up on my Amazon seller account, so this is stuff that I won't go through because I've read it, you know, wasn't a big fan of anything that was here, so this is all stuff that I've got up for sale. And then the only other book I own is the one I'm currently reading, and that is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. I am thoroughly enjoying it so far. It is incredibly well written. It has to do with like food and sex and the interplay between them. She has a very interesting way of describing things. So this is definitely kind of an adult book for sure. am I like halfway? No, I'm maybe like a third of the way through, so very much enjoying this. I hope you guys enjoyed the bookshelf tour. I'm gonna get to reading, but I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.